is which side was to the pump and which side is to the house. So I'm following this wire. Looks like it goes up over in that direction and then over and out, because it's over there by where the sewer system goes out. So I'm going to assume that that one's to our pump. Again, each one of these wires have 115 on it because our pump is 220. So it don't necessarily matter which way you hook them back up, just as long as you're keeping in mind you're jumping these wires to this wire through the switch. So like if you were going to wire nut them together, it's just about how you would hook them up to the switch. And you can't really go backwards because each one of these wires have 115 on them. Normally it's, there's so many different colors they could use. One of them's black, one of them's white. The only thing that you do not want to hook up or mismatch is going to be the ground. And it normally connects to a screw right there. And each side is hooked up on this one. Now sometimes I'll see where they don't hook them up, but you should, it's important. Those are so rusted, they're not gonna come off, so I'm just gonna cut them. I wonder if I can pull this from under there. Yeah, there we go, I got this side. Now what about this side? Nice. So I'm gonna have to cut them. The only importance to the pressure gauge really is for diagnosing purposes. So you don't necessarily have to put one in. I highly advise for you to do so, because if there's ever a problem when it comes time to try to diagnose what's going on with your system, you're going to want that gauge to be present. Okay, so I got the power disconnected. On this one, I'm going to be, I don't normally do this, but because of the condition of all these fittings, I'm replacing everything. So I'm going to start off of our well pipe, the plastic stuff that comes in from outside. A lot of taking this stuff apart is self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Anyway, see, that's seized up. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. I'm going to try to cut as close to the T as I possibly can. I'm going to move the camera just in case, because I don't want it to get wet. And open this drain valve right here to help some of that water relieve itself. I'm also going to shut the house main so that I don't have to worry about that water bleeding back. Okay, nice. Funny, it stopped immediately. So I got that nice and cut. That's a little bigger than mine. No, that's good. It's just old. That's alright, no worries. Okay. In some cases you do need copper cutters, and you do need to do some soldering of the pipe. I'm going to try to just screw my well teat onto the existing copper. So in that case, I won't have to do no soldering. I think that fitting is plastic. Yep, it sure is. I hate using those. Where it goes from here into here, you normally use a barbed fitting. Like something like that. I don't like using the plastic ones because they always seem to be a problem, especially when it comes time to taking them out. Okay. Boy, oh boy. I'm going to have to use a torch or tube cutters to get this tee out. There don't seem to be as much play as I remembered. So, we'll do that here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and jump over here and start assembling the bladder. So on the bottom it's 90. And remember, I'm using the kind with the union. You don't want your nut to fall off. Ever. Because it's fresh water, I'm using Teflon tape. There's nothing wrong with using liquid pipe dope. Except for the fact that you gotta kind of worry about it going into the water system. I could have done this outside and not in the crawl space. It sure would have been a lot easier. In a lot of cases, you're going to want to hold on to this 90 so that it don't bend the bottom of the tank. And that's where your pipe wrench, one place your pipe wrench couldn't cover easily. That's why this one can be a pain in the butt. I'm pleased with that. Yeah, I would like to put some kind of liquid pipe sealant on there. It would sure make things a lot nicer. So with this system, we've got our feed from our well pump coming in on the plastic, goes through the well tee and then starts feeding the house. So I'm going to set mine up accordingly. You can put the check valve on that side or that side. I've planned mine to go on this side. It don't matter which side you put your pressure gauge on or your pressure switch. It don't matter, you can flip them. Same thing with on here. It don't matter which side you have the ball valve or the hose bib boiler drain valve on. You know what? If I plan on screwing this into the copper pipe, I'm not going to want all my fittings on there. However, I can't get the other tee off without cutting the copper pipe, so it ain't going to matter in this situation. Now with your check valve, they normally have an arrow on them telling you the direction of the water. You can more or less look inside. On this one, this is where the water goes in. You see the arrow there. So you're going to want to put it in direction as it should be. choose to do my pressure switch last so that's not in my way, along with my gauge, because I've got a union on this welty. Another thing that's nice about Teflon is when I do soldering, and I screw that male copper adapter in here to do my soldering on here, the heat won't melt the Teflon that's inside here, and your seal will still be good. So this is basically how I'm going to set my welty up. And then I'm going to screw the union on to here, stand that bladder upright, and then put it in place of there. Now I'm going to stop recording for a moment, and then I'll start back up when I start putting everything in place.